Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to our pre-Thanksgiving show. Looks like it's going to be a little scarce tonight. Might just be me and Dave here, but since we had so much action on the weekend, I figured that we'd get in a little show here. So with me and Dave, this might be a quickie. How you doing tonight, Dave?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. No Sue's Corner tonight. Sue was busy working on side dishes for tomorrow, and
Oh,
I prepped the turkey. So tomorrow I just basically have to put it into the oven. So
okay.
looking forward to it.
Now you live in Maryland, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now one of my most favorite things from the East Coast for Thanksgiving, and it seems like people out here are really afraid of them. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, oyster dressing.
Oh, I've never had oyster dressing,
What?
but I would try it absolutely.
You're in Maryland and you haven't had oyster dressing?
No, because I would always do the make our stuffing, the bread stuffing and stuff the turkey, and that's just the way my mother would do it because we were from Western Pennsylvania. So
Well, it was always something very special in our house, and only grandma made it, of course. Um, and it's been so many years since I've had real oyster dressing. My acupuncturist actually, uh, I always tease her because she's from Maryland also, and she hasn't made oyster dressing in about the last 6 or 7 years. With the thing with oysters and all that. So people, I don't know if people still make oyster dressing, and I was just wondering, whether or not, maybe it's further up the coast, maybe, you know, Rhode Island
well,
and up around in there.
yeah, well, I think in Maryland it was more toward the Eastern Shore that they would do the oyster dressing, but
Oh,
you know,
you're more inland.
yeah, I'm right outside of DC.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was just something that I was wondering about. Quick baseball note: Don Mattingly and um, uh, it's
Dale Murphy.
I mean, yeah. Which one you think, or both, making the Hall of Fame?
Well, Dale Murphy, I think he had back-to-back MVP seasons, and now the getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame, those voters are pretty stingy. It's pretty tough to get in. But if I had to pick one or the other, I would go with Dale Murphy first. And just he was the best, the most valuable player in all of baseball 2 seasons in a row. I mean, that should to me should be worth something.
Okay, all right. Uh, what do you think about some of the new hirings around the baseball league? You got 4 out of 9 of these guys are unconventional candidates. You got 3 of them that are actually just uh, getting their first major league experience, including the new manager out here in San Diego that everybody's talking about. Uh, what's your thoughts here?
Well, I think it's going to be fascinating to track their progress next year and to compare how they do. And I think you were saying before, with the San Diego manager, they've made the playoffs. Are they going to make the playoffs this year? Um, it would be interesting to really understand the logic that these teams put into bringing in first timers and veering away from the veterans, because there's still veteran coaches out there that are available. So I think it's going to make for a fascinating season to track.
Yeah, it really should be. Like I said, some of these first time managers, a lot of the teams, like the Padres, making, which would be a huge change, compared to what they usually do. But hey, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting. I have a neighbor that's a season ticket holder, so we'll see. If I hear things breaking in the apartment, I know what it is. Uh,
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see how they do.
oh
And
yeah.
and I think a lot of it is going to depend on how strong of an organization they have backing them.
Does that speak well for your Pirates?
Well, I don't know. The Pirates are a whole different story, and that's mainly about the owner. The big news for them has been Paul Scanes, and people are worried that he's going to be gone. And I know that on opening day of his rookie year last year, this guy had a pinstripe uniform with Scanes on the back. And then there was a report. I guess there was. I don't think he was identified, but some teammate kind of said, "Oh well, Scanes is hoping that he gets traded," and Scanes denied it. He says no. He's in Pittsburgh. He wants to help him win. The general manager Ben Cherington said that Scanes is definitely going to be a Pirate in 2026, and actually the Pirates have him. Uh, they kind of have control of his contract, I think, through 2029. Um, but my question is going to be: does the ownership invest in some lumber to support him, some closers, and are they going to try to build a winner around him? Because it's like he won the Cy Young award with like a 10-10 record, and it's just wasting that talent. So, he did get a what was it, a 3.4, $3.9 million bonus.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see what happens, because I think if he continues performing the way he's performing, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be trying to wrest him away from the Pirates. And I'm kind of a conservative guy. If you got a star like that, you hang on to him and build around him. And
Well, the Yankees and the Mets say that they're both going to be spending a little less money because they're not getting the results that they expect. So, I don't know. New York might not be a destination right now. And like you say, the Pirates having basically until 2029 anyway, right?
right, they have control. So we'll see, how things progress, and I'm just hoping that Pittsburgh invests in some supporting staff around them.
But are they going to keep giving him this pre-arbitration money? I think it was 2 million, almost 2.5 million last year. Now almost 3.5 million this year. I mean, can they keep afford giving him that kind of money? Pre-arbitration. I mean, what's that going to mean when he comes under arbitration?
Well, I mean, his value is just going to be up and up and up, and that might make it difficult for the Pirates to hang on to him, because other teams may just make an offer that they can't refuse. So I mean, he's a very talented guy. I hope that his arm stays healthy, and I don't know how many seasons he's going to be able to dominate the way he's been dominating. And but they need to seize the moment now. Now's the time to invest and to try to build a winning roster.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you actually have another rookie there too uh, that they could be a good one-two punch. Um, since it's just you and I'm going to go on to the NFL Week 12 because Jeffrey's going to come and talk to us a little bit here at the half hour, and we're going to talk a little ACC. So we have the Chiefs, and they pulled out their must win against the Colts. They held the Chiefs running back Taylor. He had 16 carries for 58 yards, and Daniel Jones only had 181 yards passing, even though he did have two TDs. What's your thoughts here? You know, are we seeing Danny Dimes return to the Giants, Danny Dimes, or is it the Chiefs with their back against the wall?
Yeah, I see that the Chiefs are a pretty good team, and I think that they're desperate, and they're still not in the if the season were to end now, they wouldn't be in the playoffs.
No, they
So,
would
so
miss the playoffs.
they're 6-5. They're outside, but I think that you're not going to want to be playing the Chiefs if they're coming up on your schedule. Because these guys are going to be doing what they can to try to get back into the playoff picture. I don't think that they'll catch Denver, but it could be that the AFC West ends up with three playoff teams. You have the Denver that will probably win it. Then you have the Chargers, and then the
They're
Chiefs.
2 games ahead, even though they lost. I think they're 2 games ahead of the Chiefs. Also, aren't they 8? Don't they have 8 wins?
The Chargers are 1 game ahead. They're 7-4.
Yeah, okay. I thought they had 8 wins. Oh no, they lost. Didn't they lose? Yeah, no. I think they were on a bye. Yeah, I think they were on a bye last week. What do you think about Shador's first start? He didn't look too good. When he was backing up Gabriel, I'm not sure whether it was the Raiders. It's not like it was a championship team necessarily. But what do you think? Now of course according to Shador, he's the answer. But the Browns are still in the bottom of the league, right? Or is it the Kansas? The Cincinnati.
Both of the teams are 3-8 right now.
Okay, so
and then you got Tennessee and you got the Raiders and the Jets that are even worse than those two teams. So the thing is it's been a merry-go-round, and what they've done now, though, Stefanski, I guess they've announced that he will be the starter in their next game, even though they're getting Gabriel back. So, he played well enough, and for them to put the confidence behind him. Of course, they got San Francisco coming up, so that'll be a little bit of a different contest than with the Raiders. With Shadur, I thought that he had a higher ceiling than Gabriel anyway. And so you got to make a choice, and it sounds like Cleveland has made their choice, and that's going to be the Shadur. But I'd like to see him play against a couple quality teams, and they're playing, I think, San Francisco next, and that'll be, now we'll get a real sense of how good or not good he is.
Yeah, another big battle in the NFC West. We had 3 teams that might make it from the NFC West, but that's a different conversation. We'll talk about that a little later. Uh, we got the Rams, and they beat the Bucks 34-7. Uh, as I was just talking about that close race in the NFC West, the Rams are actually number one. The Seahawks are number two, and the 49ers are number three. And I think there's only one game that separates the three of them. What'd you think about the 49ers? The Bucks had just came off that game with the Lions, and they were on the road. But your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, um, Tampa Bay is in first place in their division.
Yeah,
Even though they lost, they're 6-5, and they're a half game ahead of the Carolina Panthers at 6-6. But uh, Mayfield, he went down with the shoulder injury again, and then it's his left shoulder. It's the same shoulder that he had the surgery in when his last season with Cleveland. And the question is okay. Well, I guess they're saying it's a pinched nerve or something like that. Well, how soon is he going to be back? But you have it could be that Carolina actually wins the NFC South. If Tampa Bay's been fighting a lot of injuries, and the Rams, well, right now they look like road graders. They're taking everybody down. So I think we're seeing one team whose fortunes are looking up. In the meantime, you have another team that have been very competitive and are still first in their division, but looks like they may fade in these last few weeks of the season.
yeah. Speaking of fading, Mr. Scott isn't here, but his Vikings fall to 4-7. Uh, they actually were held scoreless the entire second half. Now, is it McCartney? They've also been hit with the injury bug, but you know, there's well, I guess it's still possible if they were going to win six in a row, but it looks like the Vikings are heading for a losing season. What's your thoughts on that NFC North division?
Well, the Vikings, they had a quarterback that took them to the playoffs last year, and then they decided, no, we're going with J.J. McCarthy,
They
and
had
they
two
they
quarterbacks.
may have bet on the wrong horse.
You
And
mean
they had Jones from the Colts on their practice squad, I want to say.
right,
So
right?
the Vikings, they went all in on J.J. McCarthy, and I'll be interested to know who was the actual decision maker on that. Was that ownership? Was it the general manager? Was it the head coach? Was it a corporate decision? But man, they got egg on their faces, and I don't. They already have 7 losses. Um, I think that they're pretty well done. Now in the NFC North, you got Chicago, who beat Pittsburgh. They're in first place, which I don't think anybody expected that. Everybody expected Chicago to be fourth in that division,
Yes, they did.
and they're doing well. You got Green Bay that has a tie. Um, so it's hard to tell. Now, I think that Detroit is getting their center back, I want to say.
Yeah, they're getting Detroit may be getting healthy at the right time.
Right. And so, who's, among these teams, Chicago's 8-3, Packers 7-3-1, Detroit 7-4. So among those 3 teams, who's going to get hot about now? And Detroit might be in a good position to make a run, even though right now they're in third place and they're out of the playoff picture. They could get right back into it.
I see Bill is here. So, what was Bill in that hunt there?
On the picks,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Mediocre.
just needs is if he does his picks tonight, then he'll be qualified.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So somebody picked Bill up right there on time. Uh, Bill, we're waiting. We're kind of waiting for Jeffrey. That was the reason why we're talking NFL so quickly. But we were talking about some of the games last week, and we were just talking about that. Oh well, let me. I'll get both of you can kind of get in on this one because it was the Bears that beat the Steelers this week, and Dave, there's something about that number 31. When we give up 30 or more points,
There it is. Yep.
you know, uh, and I mean, just the last couple of weeks or the weeks before, we were talking about the defense, and then they go out and, I mean, you just can't play 10 yards off a guy. When you consistently, I mean, if you're already 10 yards off, unless you're fleet of foot. Now, if you're fleet of foot, that's a different case.
But the reason they're doing it is they're afraid of getting beaten deep. So it's not fleet of foot is not the issue. Fleet of foot is plenty fast in a straight line, but I mean, I'm not telling you things you can't see with your own eyes. He has like a 34.5-inch inseam, right? He's high hipped. And like so many long leg guys, even though he's very fast in a straight line, he really struggles to change direction quickly.
Something like TJ. I mean, Metcalf.
Like a lot of tall guys. I mean, Mel Blount was another. Now, Mel Blount made up for that by, knocking the living crap out of you right in the line of scrimmage.
Well,
so he didn't.
Those would be illegal hits now. We couldn't do that no more. We can't.
But also, I mean, the Mel Blount rule, the illegal contact rules, because he wasn't letting dudes get off the line, James. He would knock a guy down twice right before the ball even got in the air. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Bob Hayes, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, or all three roll up into one. If a guy knocks you down twice before you get off the line, you're not going to catch any football. So, the reason we have the rules we have now, I say this often, for 51 years, I've been watching pro football for a little over that time. So a few years before that. So for me, I've been watching pro football for like 53 years and change. But every rule that has been made, every major rule change has been to help offenses and hamstring defenses. But I said this. Remember when I told you a couple years ago I was broadcasting during the draft, and they traded up, which the Steelers rarely do, and Christian Gonzalez was coming down towards him, and I got super excited because I had mocked Christian Gonzalez too.
Yes.
I was so afraid that somebody would snap him up before us, and he's coming down towards us like, and we're trading up, and I'm like, I'm so excited. We're getting Christian Gonzalez because when you have elite cover corners, beyond what they do to the person they're covering, is they are a balm to the ragged nerves of defensive play callers, defensive coordinators. It frees them up to do things. And while I'm not letting Terrell Austin or any of the Steelers defensive coordinators the last few years off the hook. When is the last time that the Steelers had, forget the term shutdown, right? I'm not even bringing up shutdown, but top flight, top 10, top 8 type corners. And I said corners with an S, meaning more than one of them, because you play with more than one. In fact, nowadays you play with three most of the time. The fact that the Steelers have had at most one top 10 corner at one time, and you got to go back to what Joe Hayden maybe in his best years. I mean, so much of what the Steelers don't do on defense, I think, is because they don't trust their coach. They play a very low position man coverage, and when they do,
Go ahead.
they do it clearly in a way that makes them queasy, right? You can tell they don't like it. Even when they do it, it's very often off man, right? As you pointed out. The whole point of, I thought, of getting Joey Porter Jr., who is long and strong, is he's going to jam the crap out of people and then bail, right? That jam and bail thing. Which I'm not saying they never do that, but they don't do it very often. So what's the point of Joey Porter Jr.? Because that's the thing he did best at Penn State. It's very confusing, some of the things they do. I feel like, and once again, someday I'll get over the Christian Gonzalez thing. I mean, he was coming to us. It was right. But when you
no, I was with you there with Christian Bill. I was definitely hoping that but Dave, I mean, it's a matter of once again, not being able to shut down when we needed it, when we needed to shut down. I think Caleb Williams had 3 TDs, and it just gets a little frustrating because, there's no such thing as winning a shootout. And I said that before the season started. It's true, when Aaron went down, but it's also true, that where are we without Aaron? I mean, so your thoughts here, David, between the offense and defense, we have a killer schedule coming up.
I mean, here's the thing is I think defensive. First of all, the Steelers for 2025, the way they're built is to win on defense. And they've given up 30 or more points, I think, 5 times this season already.
Yep.
If they do it against Buffalo, it'll be 6. And there's only 2 Steeler teams since 1970 that have given up 30 or more points in 6 games in a season. That's the 1998 Steelers, and I want to say the 2002 Steelers. I could be wrong on the years, but there's only 2 years. So and there's still 5 games to play. So they've paid for a defense that they thought was going to carry the team. They were looking for Aaron Rodgers not to be throwing the ball downfield, but to be a game manager. And he, his last game that he played, he didn't play too well. And then in this game, Mason Rudolph, I think he only threw like 6 long passes. And I don't know that the only one he connected on was an interception, at the beginning of the game, when he threw a 50-50 ball to DK Metcalf, and the defender just made a great play, and it was a poor pass. It was underthrown. Roman Wilson was open, and he just missed him. One time he didn't throw him the ball. The other time he did throw him the ball, he threw the ball out of bounds, and Roman Wilson was wide open. So I think on offense, they only scored 21 points against Chicago, that was missing their 3 starting linebackers and were really hurting. On defense, I think I tend to agree with what Bill was saying, but I think that they were calculating, Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin, that Caleb Williams would not be able to make all the throws, that he wouldn't be able to beat them. And he did. Part of it was schematic. So, like for example, on the their go-ahead score when DJ Moore scored, we were in cover 3. They ran 4 vertical routes. Simple arithmetic. We got 3 guys deep. They got 4 guys going deep. One of them's going to be open. And DJ Moore was, and Caleb Williams found him. On another play that they scored, we have 4 defensive linemen in. We stop the run. It's 1st and goal. We stop the run. Then we switch. They go to 11 personnel, I want to say. And then we go to 2 down linemen. They run the ball right up the middle and score. And so I think that the Steelers did get out coached in this game. I think that the Bears coaches had a better scheme, a better plan. But despite all that, a play here, a play there, the Steelers win. If Kyle Duggar doesn't drop the interception at the end of the first half, that's 3 points. And towards the end of the game, if they had their timeout, I think that would have made a big difference. One thing I want to kind of take an aside, and this may or may not have changed the game, but the officiating was atrocious, and the CBS coverage was horrible. And so I'll give you a couple examples. One, Kenneth Gainwell catches a ball on 3rd down. They signal 1st down. We're ready to go. And then all of a sudden they say, oh, no, the replay shows that he was a couple inches short. And so it becomes 4th and 1. We go to a tush push. And after a moment of hesitation, Connor Hayward is like a yard over the first down marker. How come no replay? They didn't whistle it dead. The play was not whistled dead. And yet the play before, they used the replay to deny a 1st down, and then they don't use a replay to show that Connor Hayward was ahead. The lost timeout, I'm kind of befuddled by that. One, I know that it's the rule, but what's aggravating is that an incomplete pass stopped the clock. And then James Pierre is like tripped up, and then they said that he's injured, so therefore we're taking away the timeout from the Steelers. Yet James Pierre was on the very next play on the punt. And so I thought if you're injured on a play, you had to sit out a play. And of course, they did not show, where James Pierre, and he probably overacted it when he tripped over the Bears player. So I think that the officiating was really, really bad. And then they on a punting play on Corliss Waitman's first punt, he punts the ball. They tackle the returner right around the 10 or 12 yard line. They announce holding half the distance to the goal. And then they go to commercial break, and Pittsburgh has to repunt. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. What happened? And then they say, oh, well, the gunner, Ben Skoranek, was called for holding. Now, I haven't seen the All-22. I would love to see the All-22. Why would a gunner be holding an opponent? A gunner is trying to get away from a block. He's not trying to hold a block. And the call made no sense. CBS never showed it. There was never an explanation. It was just it's just illogical. And I think the officiating was bad, but the Steelers made enough gaffes of their own, such as whenever Austin and Gainwell failed to cover the tackle on the third down play, and then Mason Rudolph had a first down. We thought they were cooking with gas, but they were misaligned. So sloppy play on the part of Pittsburgh. I think Chicago, was out coached Pittsburgh. But despite all that, they were just a play or two away from winning that game.
Well, we're going to continue that conversation. I see Jeffrey's here, and Mr. Scott's kind of here incognito. I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll hear from him soon. Mr. Scott says he's going to be announcing some kind of turkey award tonight. So we'll see what that's about. But Jeffrey, how are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good tonight. Glad to be on.
Yeah, a lot of things happening your way and in college sports in general. I had to kind of change one of my topics because it seems like Mr. Kiffin is now unemployed without cause. But
Okay.
now, which means that he's still going to be getting about 54 mil, somewhere around there, roughly, or some, must be nice. But anyway, Jeffrey, considering things over in the ACC, are we going to see Mr. Kiffin in a different? Well, we are going to see him in a different team, but are we going to see him in the ACC? I guess is the question.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's. I mean, it looks like it's between LSU and Florida, where Kiffin is gonna eventually end up. Now that you know what happened at Ole Miss, like you said, I think if there was even the remotest possibility of Kiffin in the ACC, it would be like at a place like Florida State. And you know that they've extended Norvell into next year. I don't know what I think about that decision, but good for Florida State to make a decision, I suppose. No question. They've been the worst ACC program over the last 2 years. They've only won 3 ACC games the past 2 seasons, and if not for that Alabama win, which was a lightning in a bottle day. There wouldn't be anything positive coming out of Tallahassee. That would have maybe been the one school that might have had a shot at Kiffin in the ACC, I think. But that ship has sailed. I think he's choosing between Florida and LSU right now, in my opinion.
Okay, all right. There's been some legal developments in the ACC. What's going on over there, Jeff?
Yeah, kind of refresh my memory there. What you're referring to, because there could be quite a few legal things going on.
Well, what was it? Your commissioner had a few things to say about the playoffs and how they should be aligned. And
I mean, I know he said some things earlier in the year about he was against the AQ format, and they were aligned with the Big 12. On that, as the two teams that are outside the SEC and Big 10, on the the single AQ, but not the multiple 4-2-2 format. So I know from their point of view, they want to go, for the best team and take your chances, which I'm also in favor of as well. I mean, if any of the formats, if you're trying for this multiple auto bid, 4 teams, does the Big Ten, they don't have 4 playoff worthy teams, and I think even an ACC person like myself is going to say, they're not 4 ACC worthy worthy teams to reach the playoffs. So, I mean, the way I look at it, you have your one AQ bid and take your chances after that.
Okay. All right. How are you this year? Are you satisfied with the ACC season? Some of the teams that you might be disappointed with.
Yeah, that's really a great question because the year started out. There were a number of out of conference losses, but the ACC had two, Miami and Florida State with those marquee wins to open up the season. With Miami beating Notre Dame, which suddenly seems to be forgotten when we're ranking the teams or deciding who are playoff. Which is also quite frustrating. Especially if, in particular if you're a Miami fan, with records being the same, and you're looking at, well, I think Booger McFarland, the ESPN analyst said it best. I don't need a bunch of metrics to tell me what happened on the field. That Miami beat Notre Dame, and he was really right about that. I mean, you can argue all of the the metrics that you want to use, but the fact is when they played each other head to head, Miami won the game, and it was a lot. It was more lopsided than the score indicated. I know the final was 27-24, but Miami was in complete control of that game deep into the fourth quarter. As Notre Dame made a late run, but I mean, if the committee actually watched that game, Miami was considerably better in that game. And I'm not taking away anything from Notre Dame. I mean, I also think they're a team that should be in the playoff. I think they are one of the 10 or 11 best teams in all of college football. They're peaking right now. Um, but I think both of them should be there. And if you're coming down with that final spot, I know Miami had a little bit of a lull in the middle of the season, took kind of a poor loss to Louisville at home, who's really fallen apart. But the loss to SMU, I don't think nearly looks as bad. That could be your ACC champion. So when you look at it, it really does make you wonder if it comes down for a final spot, how the committee is going to choose between Notre Dame and Miami. And if you're in that position and you choose Notre Dame, I mean, I think that's really going to create a lot of frustration across college football about playing, out of conference games, because then you're like, well, what's the point? We won the game and it didn't matter. So I think from an ACC perspective, that's a frustrating thing. You look at Florida State, who had that massive marquee win over Alabama, and they didn't do anything with it. Uh, they're struggling to get to a bowl game yet again. If you saw them against NC State, it was literally a comedy of errors at the end of that game. A punt going off. Okay, this was kind of a accidental thing, but a punt going off at Florida State player's head, going 30 yards back to NC State, who recovered, and still their defense held. There's another punt by NC State, and Florida State muffed the punt and recovered by NC State. So Florida State did nothing to build on that win against Alabama. Georgia Tech getting off to an 8-0 start, and everything's riding high in Atlanta. Brent Key, Haynes King for the Heisman, and then in the month of November, the defense just completely falls apart. I mean, it wasn't very good to start with, but it was enough that where the offense could get them out of trouble in games. It just had to be average, and right now it's maybe one of the worst units in all of college football. I mean, and they just cost themselves a chance to go to the ACC championship. Louisville, following a Miami win, collapses down the stretch. Lost at home to Cal, then Clemson, then by the time they go to SMU, there's it's all in their head and they get blown out. So I think when you look at it from, what do I look at the whole of the ACC season, it's not so much I think the league was really way down. It's more like it was just a lot of missed opportunities. The opportunities were there for not to be in this position to struggle to get a playoff team in. There was an opportunity to have multiple teams, likely to get the playoff. And these are the kind of things that the ACC teams could have controlled. It was in their control. I mean, Miami is the most talented team in the ACC, and you lose to Louisville at home, in a game where Carson Beck just he goes brain dead. You got to be honest. He had like 4 turnovers in that game, and these were the kind of things that the opportunity was there for a lot of the ACC programs, and a lot of them just didn't take advantage of it. At SMU, they've recovered nicely. So you have to give credit to Rhett Lashley and SMU. And Virginia so far is taking care of business and is making the most of it. But, uh, you know, I look at this year as is not a down year for the league, but one of like the opportunities were there. There was enough positive at the beginning of the year, and a lot of teams just didn't finish the deal. They just didn't close the deal.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Jeffrey, we have some pretty important games coming up this week. Of course, we got Texas and Texas A&M facing off there. What do you like there? Who do you like? I know you like Bill, or one of those quarterback gurus. Who do you like here, Manning or Reed?
I think Arch Manning is starting to play at the level a lot of people expected him for the whole season. But right now, Marcel Reed is one of my favorite players, in college football. I don't even think he doesn't get talked about in the discussion with the very best quarterbacks in college football. I mean, you hear about saying at Ohio State or Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt, or but for my money, I would put Marcel Reed ahead of both of them at the moment. Uh, I mean, you're down 30-3 to South Carolina, and he brings them all the way back. And he goes on the road in the second game of the year at Notre Dame, and beats Notre Dame in South Bend. He is just an electric player, and when he's in the open field, I mean, good luck. Good luck trying to tackle him in the open field. And I think Texas A&M is going to beat Texas this weekend and get to the SEC championship game. And when you have a quarterback like that, I think Texas A&M is not even. I think they're a little bit of a flawed team. They're not like these juggernaut Alabama teams and Georgia teams from a few years ago. But Marcel Reed is good enough with what they do have on the talent. They can make a really deep run, in my opinion, in the playoffs.
Bill, what's your thoughts here?
Well, I just want to clarify something. I think you meant Brian Kelly at the beginning there. Is that who you're actually talking about, James, as opposed to Lane Kiffin?
No, was it Brian Kelly that
you made reference to a $54 million payout, and while Lane Kiffin is very well compensated, he doesn't have $54 million coming to him all at once. So I think you might have actually meant Brian Kelly and the LSU contract that he was recently told that he was being fired without cause. I believe that's who you meant, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you're right. But what do you think about this Manning? Are you as ecstatic as Jeffrey?
About Marcel Reed particularly? Yes, actually. About Marcel Reed, I am particularly ecstatic. If he could just put on weight and keep it on, I think he would be sort of like catnip to the right NFL team. That's really the only real legitimate knock on him. I mean, I don't know what they list him at, but he's probably legitimately about 179 pounds. He is a very slender person. Maybe he can get up to the mid to upper 180s early in the season, but by the end of the season, he loses, about 11, 12 pounds. And it's not for lack of eating. He is famously voracious. He just has a super fast metabolism. But he shows mental and physical toughness. He knows how to layer the ball over the linebacker and drop it in front of the safeties. He can throw outside the numbers. He can throw across the middle. He's a good enough athlete, though he's not a running quarterback in the sense that he thinks run first. But he's a good enough athlete that if everything breaks down, he can pick up, more than just 6 or 7 yards. He can get 20, 30 yards sometimes. Uh, Outside of, like I said, his build not being ideal, there's not a lot not to like about Marcel Reed. Um, there was a time when he was still sharing snaps with Connor Wegman, and I'm one of those that never quite saw the Connor Wegman hype. I never got like, why is this guy a 5-star in the first place? But he was, and every time Reed would go out there, the offense looked better, everything looked better, and I was like, why are they putting Wegman back in there? Maybe it was because they, paid him a lot of money for NIL stuff. I don't know what it was, but I'm glad Reed has now taken over the job. It shows that truly Texas A&M has turned over a new leaf. Because I think back in the Jimbo days, they would have stuck with Connor Wegman, and Marcel Reed would have been the guy transferring out to someplace else. So it shows that Elko is a better evaluator, at least in that way, than Jimbo was. I think this will be a very good game. If Texas A&M's defense shows up like I think it might, though I think it'll still be a close game, they should win this game. They are stacked on defense. I don't know if people. I mean, people should realize Texas A&M is loaded, loaded, loaded. They've been loaded for a while, but unlike in the Jimbo days where they would somehow underachieve despite having all these 5 and 4 stars, these guys are achieving. Their defense has at least 5 guys that are going to play for a while in the NFL. For a while. The offense isn't quite as stacked, but they have a couple of guys that I like. And Texas, they can't run the football. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, they have struggled to run the football. Their most effective runner has probably been Archibald Charles Manning. And that's not what you want. Though he is, once again, a good athlete, he should not be your most effective runner. They've only really had one game where they're one game against somebody in the Power Four, I should say, where their running game is clicked. Once. That's happened once against Power Four opponents. All their other big rushing games this year have been against non-Power Four opponents. So they got to figure something out, and probably won't get figured out this year. I mean, it's kind of late in the game. So I think Texas A&M. I do think it's close, but I think the line is what, 5.5 or 6. That's about right. I think that A&M wins by probably about 1 touchdown, somewhere in that range.
Okay. Staying with Texas, Bill, the Texas AG, Attorney General, he urges state schools not to sign the CSC's participation agreement. What do you think about that, Bill?
I mean, and this is why some people, complain about the state of modern sports. It's always been a business, right? I mean, I've read Meat on the Hoof by a person who played for Jericho Royal 60-something years ago. This is not really new. It's just that we know everything that we didn't know in the old days. I don't know if it'll take off. I don't know if it'll catch on. I don't know if anything will really come from it. I see both the downsides and the upsides. I just feel like people that most schools will not follow their, if that's what their lead is, will not follow their lead. I think most of those sides.
What do you think, Jeffrey? Because some of these conferences, it has to be a unanimous agreement. What's your thoughts here? Are you muted, Jeff? We can't hear you.
Well, if it's not speaking, looks like he might not hear you.
I think he's frozen.
Or that. Yep, that's what it is. Yeah, he got the carbonite poured on him like Han Solo. Oh, there we go. He's gonna try to. It looks like he's going. Yep, here he is. He's back.
No, I was trying to see if I could unfreeze him. Jeffrey, are you frozen? Jeffrey,
I wanted to ask him how he saw Pitt's defense stacked up against Miami, but I
yeah,
guess
Pitt coming off that big win against Tech. I was Jeffrey. Can you go out and come back? Let's see if I can. Well, Bill, while Jeffrey's not there, you know what we had to talk about the big game this weekend.
Okay.
Ohio State, Michigan.
Right.
Can we say, are we finally going to solve the riddle?
I think yes. Now, of course, we say this every year, but this probably should be the year. A lot of things sort of come together this year for Ohio State. They have the best defense they have had probably since
Yeah, since
like
then,
maybe like the Andy Katzenmoyer, the since the what's the name on the Wheaties box, Spielman, right? Since the Spielman, Katzenmoyer, like so you have to go back a ways since they've had a defense that's good. They have a top 5 or 6 defense in almost every single metric, right? There's almost no metric where they aren't in the top 5 or 6. They may be the best all-around defense in the country, and if it's not them, it might be Indiana. They are truly a special defensive group, and what makes it all the more impressive is how many players they lost in the draft last year. So, hats off to the player evaluation, player development people, the strength and conditioning coaches. Shout out to the general manager and the scouting staff. The coaches, of course, matter too, but when you can reload like that in the NIL era, a lot of the credit should go, not all of it, but a lot of it should go to the people who now are taking over the talent acquisition and talent evaluation part of the program. Coaches, especially smart coaches, are spending less and less time grinding through tape of high school kids and junior college kids.
I think Jeffrey, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry about that. Little internet technical difficulties.
Dave had a question for you, Jeffrey.
Yeah, actually, two questions. One, the first question was, how do you see Pitt's defense stacking up against Miami? Because that's a big game coming up. And then the second question was, how do you think James Franklin is going to do with Virginia Tech? Is that going to switch things around down there, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, no, I mean, first question. I mean, I think Pitt's got a real chance to be really disruptive against Miami. I mean, I'm a Georgia Tech guy. I wanted to see Georgia Tech win on Saturday night, but I was so impressed by what Pitt did against Georgia Tech. I mean, they had Haynes King really flustered and rattled in that game in a way that nobody's been able to do for over 2 years. You know, not Clemson, not Georgia, not anybody has been able to rattle him the way he got rattled in that game in over 2 years. He was making mistakes that we hadn't seen in a really long time, and you know, Pittsburgh was so aggressive in that game. You know, Georgia Tech runs so much misdirection stuff and all this eye candy before the snaps that I mean, a lot of teams struggle with it. You know, they don't know what their linebackers don't know where to go. They don't know which players, and it's a really difficult offense to prepare for. And what Pitt came out with, it was like it was like one of those things. They said, don't look at any other players, just look at the ball where it is and go for the ball. And and you know, they really, their linebackers got in Haynes King's face. They took the running game away. And by the time Georgia Tech's offense kind of got squared away, the game was really out of hand. And when Georgia Tech had the opportunity to to get back into the game. They come up with a pick six, which is something, Haynes, that was the worst throw he's made the entire season.
Yep.
I think I read some things. He didn't even see the defender coming across the field to make that pick, and there the game ended. I think Pitt can do some of those same things against Miami, against a quarterback who's even more likely to get rattled in Carson Beck. And also, with Mason Heichel at quarterback, I mean, he's just getting better every week. He put the Notre Dame game behind him. That could be the one difference with what Georgia Tech could do defensively. Georgia Tech's terrible on defense. Miami's gonna look a lot more like Notre Dame on defense than Georgia Tech could hope. So I am going to be real curious to see how Heinzel, handles like Ruben Bain coming off the edge in that game. But it's going to be at home. Pitt's got a lot of momentum. They have a chance to get to the ACC championship game. We saw Miami in a similar position last year, with a lot to play for when they went on the road to Syracuse and kind of face planted in that game. So, I think the ghosts of that one are still in Mario Cristobal's ear. If Miami gets out of that game with a win, it's not gonna. They're not going to be able to dominate that game and put up style points. It's going to be like a single-digit game if they can come out of there with a victory. Now to Virginia Tech. The James Franklin hire was simply a home run for Virginia Tech. There's, if Lane Kiffin is, the number one pick in the coaching draft, James Franklin is number two. And I think for the fit for Virginia Tech, it probably was an even better fit than Lane Kiffin. I think if Lane Kiffin would have took the Virginia Tech job, he's looking for a different job in 3 years if he's winning. I think James Franklin can actually set some roots at Virginia Tech if he starts winning. He's from in that area where Penn State was. He's recruited the Virginia area, the Mid-Atlantic area, and that's one thing Virginia Tech has really struggled with over the past several years is keeping in-state talent in the Virginia area. James Franklin is going to win a whole lot more of those battles than he will lose them. And he's a proven winner. He won at Vanderbilt. He won a lot of games at Penn State. I know he never got him over the hump. And when you're at Penn State after, that many years, you might be looking for a change. But I don't know if Penn State becomes the next Nebraska and we don't hear from him again for the next 20 years. I mean, that could really happen. But I think for a fit for Virginia Tech, I think it was a great hire. It could not have went better for Virginia Tech, and they're going to be a player in the ACC really quickly. There's no dominant program in the conference right now. There is no Clemson, 2015, 2020 that's heads and shoulders above the league. They can come in and compete for a trip to Charlotte, I think, very, very quickly. I don't know if next year is probably a stretch to get it to that level that quickly, but I would not be surprised if in a couple of years, Virginia Tech is going deep into November with a chance to get to Charlotte. So if you're a Virginia Tech fan, you're probably as excited about the football program as you've been in probably 10 years.
I got that in my notes there, Jeffrey. 2 to 3 years. So right now, and I know it's we're going to be picking them soon. Who's your Heisman favorite? You mentioned a couple of guys there.
I mean, for my money, I really like Reed. I really do. I know that Julian saying there at Ohio State, but I mean he's had a really great year there at Ohio State. But he's also got the most talented team in all of college football and an elite defense, and I'm not sure I'm ready to say that's the best player in in college football. I think Ty Simpson there at Alabama had a lot of run for a while until they lost to Oklahoma. Uh, I, you know, personally, I wanted Haynes King to be in the mix, but I think he kind of derailed that with the Pitt loss. He might have an outside chance to get to New York if he has another spectacular game like he did last year against Georgia, but he might have put too much distance between himself and winning it after the Pitt game. So I don't think I don't think Diego Pavia would have my vote as like the best player in college football. I really think if Texas A&M, beats Texas, goes undefeated, I think Reed might be the guy I would personally vote for.
Who's got your vote, Bill?
It's funny. I was just working on that as well. I'm a Reed guy. I do enjoy Reed. Obviously, Jeremiah Love is going to be probably the token non-wide receiver. But if I had to choose anybody, it probably would be Mendoza. Uh,
Who was that? I couldn't quite hear it.
I was saying probably, my vote would probably go to Mendoza at this point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that he had that classic Heisman moment, and Reed hasn't quite had. He's played very very well, but unfortunately he hasn't had that moment, particularly in one of those spotlight games where everyone's watching, and where the perfect thing is a late in the game comeback that you author. But failing that, you have this incredibly dominant performance. He's been very efficient. He's been very effective. He hasn't had one of those games where people go, "Oh my God." Hayes King has had those kinds of games, though. As was mentioned by Jeffrey, he sort of took apart the team, and he have done things that took apart his chance to probably win or perhaps even be a finalist. Diego Pavia, sort of a similar story. There are other players I think are deserving of consideration, just don't get it, right? Unfortunately. What Jacob Rodriguez is doing this season is fun and extraordinary. It'd be fun to at least see, there hasn't been a linebacker who's even been a finalist ever. And the last other player who played some linebacker was a finalist. You have to go back to the days of single platoon football. So it would be cool if they brought him in. But I think right now it's going to be Love. I think Ty Simpson might still be a finalist. I think Mendoza's going to be a finalist, and Reed's going to be a finalist. I think that's probably what we're looking at right now. Now that Hayes King is sort of out of the way.
Dave, you got a horse in this race?
No, not really. I would probably go with Mendoza from Indiana. Without him, where's Indiana? And that right now, that's probably where I would be. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the college football playoffs, but by then the Heisman will already be awarded. So
yeah. Jeffrey, any thing about any legal problems with that hire? We heard there might be some kind of repercussions for Penn State. Does that have any effect on Franklin's contract?
Yeah, that one I probably hadn't followed as closely as some of the other stories. I think they were renegotiating it down to 10 million. I don't foresee that being a hang up or anything to that. I think that stuff's well on the way to getting resolved. That buyout, I'm not sure. It is just from like a side point of view. Whatever that buyout was, that definitely kind of worked out in Penn State's favor to not have to pay the full buyout, and James Franklin gets a job really quickly. And so if you're Penn State, financially, that kind of worked out for you.
Right. Okay. Hey, Jeffrey, as always, man, good to have all that knowledge that you bring. Tell us, give us your final thoughts there in the ACC, and of course, we want to get you in once all of this is kind of shaken out, and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really interesting weekend in the ACC on who gets to the ACC championship game. I really do feel good about Virginia knocking off Virginia Tech,
Yeah.
and I think SMU is playing at a level that even if they play a dangerous Cal team, I do expect them to win that game, and should set up for a pretty entertaining championship game in Charlotte. And now that the recent college football poll came out, especially if SMU was unranked, if they would have been behind the two group of 5 teams, there was still a chance that not being in one of the top 5 conferences having their ranked team, but the committee has SMU over both James Madison and Tulane. I don't think that's a concern anymore. So, I expect it to be Virginia and SMU. I'm also kind of following the basketball now. I'm one of those folks. I really like November and December college basketball because that's when you have all these out of conference matchups. Like tonight, actually Gonzaga and Michigan is something I'm going to check on. I think that's going to be like a Final Four caliber matchup. But from an ACC perspective, I know the conference has been really down the last 2 years, really outside of Duke and a couple teams making a run. But it is an improved league this year in the ACC. There is no question about it. Duke is again Duke with Boozer. That's a tough physical team. I think over the last few years, Duke's got a little bit of a reputation of being really talented and kind of a finesse team, but not this year. I mean, they got like tight ends and linebackers playing on their front line this season, and if they have consistent outside shooting, I mean, they're as good as anyone in the country. And right now, I'd have them right just behind Purdue and Arizona. Louisville looks fantastic, one of the best offensive teams in the country. North Carolina looks like they got some of their mojo back with Caleb Wilson. They beat Kansas a couple weeks ago, and Kansas defeated Tennessee tonight. So I think those 3 teams have definitely kind of separated themselves. But just below that, you saw Clemson win a tournament down in Charleston, beating West Virginia and Georgia. Cal last night knocking off a top 20 UCLA team. And they've been a little bit under the radar, and that caught a lot of people's attention to beat UCLA. So the last couple of years, the league's been struggling to get 4 and 5 bids, and I think they're going to be closer to 7, 8, or 9 this year. So I'm not ready to say the ACC is the best basketball league in America, or that it's quite vintage, but it's definitely much improved. It's a much deeper league than it's been in 3 or 4 or 5 years.
8 or 9 is a statement, Jeffrey. You wouldn't have to say much.
Yeah, I think it's possible that they could get 7, 8, or 9 bids, and we'll see how the ACC SEC challenge goes and some of these other games. But I mean, I look at Louisville and Duke as legitimate Final Four threats. North Carolina is a definite second weekend team with a chance to join that Final Four group, and then there's other. SMU has got a really quality basketball team, so this is as deep as the league's been in a number of years.
All right, man. We'll look forward to talking with you that ACC championship game and a little more ACC basketball. Thank you for joining us, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me at Talking ACC Sports, like see on the screen, on Twitter, and allsportsdiscussion.com, blogging about the ACC. So thanks as always, guys. Enjoy it. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. I don't know whether Mr. Scott is here now. Whether or not he's going to give you your picks or not, we'll see. But there he is. Oh my. I thought it was a fluke the last time, but you actually invested in a cheesehead. Mr. Scott, how are you doing this evening?
Gentlemen, I'm doing very well.
Now,
It's gotten kind of cold out here. We have some of the white stuff on the ground, which is very distressing. Very distressing to me. I was planning to do some grilling, but so I've had to go indoors, which is really not my specialty. So, but everything else is going good. But yeah, I think I sent out that I was going to have a Golden Turkey Award. If anybody's
yes,
interested in hearing who the
yes,
turkey
yes.
is,
We mentioned
you'll be very shocked. This will be a very shocking thing. The funny thing about it is Jeffrey actually got a vote because I don't do college football. And so he came on one week and had a lock college football, and it didn't come through. So he actually got a vote for the Turkey of the Year.
Well, can you tell us, what the award is and how do you qualify for this award?
Well, it's a criteria, just based on this show. It's a criteria, and it came down to three candidates, and it was all really razor thin. I mean, there's just razor thin. There was a lot of honorable mentions. The great Bill got a great honorable mention. He nearly made the cut with all his analytics and his support of this GM that we have here. It just, he almost made it, but it came down to three, razor thin. I couldn't have given it to you. I could have given it, JK3, JK3 was an honorable mention. Dave was Dave almost made it because he went across the water to see Pittsburgh. I mean, he has been Pittsburgh, and so he was very close. It was razor thin, but there were three finalists.
Well, why don't you name the three finalists first, and then tell us how you came to your decision?
Well, the finalists are, the man from Atlanta. He disparaged me. I sent him my video of, and said, "Oh, I didn't know you could wear a suit. I didn't know how you looked." So he got points for that, and of course. Demetrius, because he's Demetrius, I mean, he almost, you could just almost award it Turkey of the Year to Demetrius. But then the number one is really, kind of a sleeper is Bull. Bull from the Northwest, refusing to talk about Sam Darnold. He's just gloating about it, but refuses to come on. But when are you ready for me to reveal the winner?
Do you want to reveal? You can reveal it now or after I pick?
Reveal the winner now. As time is going by, I'll reveal the winner now. The winner is me for believing in J.J. McCarthy and thinking that this was going to work. So the winner is me and the Minnesota Vikings. It's a tie so far. It came out as a tie in a razor thin. I'm the Turkey of the Year because I believe that this would work. So that's.
That was great, Mr. Scott. that was
so now you see where my allegiance has gone back to now. So.
Dave, you wanted to give us a quick catch up here?
Sure. So last week, James, you only had 12 out of the 28. You really did poorly. Bill had 15. Anthony and Don 16, and Demetrius and I had 17 correct, which is I can't believe. I usually only get 12. So currently in first place, and if with his picks tonight, then he'll be qualified because you have to answer 11 times is Bill at 54.1%. In second place is Anthony at 51.9%, but he needs to answer 4 more weeks or he'll be disqualified. And Don
so
is
when am I
third.
disqualified? See, this is another thing. I get disqualified. I've never heard anybody else getting disqualified. Disqualification. Who's the rule? What sets the parameter? Is it a count out? Is it 1, 2, 3?
James said you have to answer 11 out of the 18 weeks. 11 out of the 18 weeks. And right now you're at 14. Or excuse me, you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you need to answer 4 more weeks in order to be qualified for this season.
Well,
fast count. 1, 2, fast count. 1, 2.
This week and 3 more, right? Or
right. This week and 3 more.
Okay. So right now, let's see. The ones that are out are Bo, Reggie, and whom else?
Just Bo and Reggie.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so let's start with our picks here. We'll start with tomorrow's games, of course. Mr. Scott, in honor of the cheesehead there, you had the Packers getting 2.5 at the Lions, and the over-under is 48.5, Mr. Scott.
Well, I will take... oh boy, I have to take the Lions. I just think they're better. I'll take Lions. I'll take the under.
And what about the Chiefs? They're actually giving the Cowboys 3.5, and the over/under is 52.5.
Boy, it's really sad when two teams that I really want to win. I mean, it's really. I have to take the Chiefs in the under.
Okay, I'm going to take the Chiefs and yes, I'm going to take the Chiefs and the under, and I'm going to take the Lions and the over. Bill.
You're on mute, Bill.
I will take the Lions and the under. I will take the Chiefs and the under. And we didn't get to the Bengals-Ravens game, right? Okay,
No,
so
not yet. Dave.
I'm taking Detroit in the over and Kansas City in the under. So we all have Kansas City in the under.
Okay. So staying with you, Dave, we have the Bungles getting 7, no hook, just 7, against the Ratbirds, and the over-under is 51.5.
I don't know about Baltimore's defense. Now, T. Higgins, I'm not sure of his situation, but they should be getting Jamar Chase back. So I'm going to take, I think Baltimore's going to win, but I'm taking Cincinnati in the over. Cincinnati in the points in the over.
Okay. And Friday night, Dave, we had the Bears. They're getting 6.5. They're playing at the Eagles, and the over-under is 44.5.
We may see Philadelphia really take advantage of that linebacker situation, but I'm still going to take the points. I'm going to take Chicago in the under.
Okay. I'm going to take the Eagles and the over, and I'm going to take the Ratbirds and the under. Mr. Scott.
Yeah, what is the games here?
You have Cincinnati playing the Ravens, Cincinnati's getting 7, no hook, just 7. And the over-under is 51.5.
Well, I'll take the Ravens and the under.
Okay, and we had the Bears. They're getting 6.5. They're playing at the Eagles, and the over/under is 44.5.
I'm going to take Philadelphia. I think the Bears are fraudulent. I mean, I just think that they're just a fraudulent franchise. So I'm going to take Philadelphia. I think that they're still the class of the thing, and I'll take it as under.
Okay, Bill. Cincinnati and the Ravens.
I will take the Ravens and the 51.5. I'll take the Ravens, and they're playing this
They're playing
It's in Baltimore.
In Baltimore. Okay, well, the weather should not be a huge factor.
And Joe Burrows might be back.
Oh, there's no S. It's just Burrow. But yes, he'll be back. Joseph Lee Burrow will play. But I don't know if it'll matter that much. I still think the Ravens are just a better team. But I'm just thinking the impact on the score. That number is probably right about correct. But I'm going to go. I think it's 51.5. So I'll go under.
And what about the Bears getting 6.5 against the Eagles?
I think it's the. I'll be close though. I'll take the Eagles in the over.
Okay, over under is 44.5. So Sunday morning, Bill, we had the Texans, and they're getting 4.5. Playing the Colts. They're playing in Indianapolis, and the over/under is again 44.5.
I will take the Texans the over. I think the Colts might win, but I think it'll be a very close back and forth affair. I'll take the Texans the over.
Okay, and the Rams are giving the Panthers 10, and the over/under is 44.5.
Boy, 44.5 seems to be the phrase that pays. Let's see. I think that the Panthers have sort of caught a little something. Not enough to win this game, but I don't think they're going to lose it by 10. The Rams are a really good team, but they don't blow. Well, they blow bad teams out, but they don't blow good teams out. And it sounds weird to say it, but I think the Panthers now have become a good team. Not great, but good. 44.5. Yeah, I'll take the Panthers in the over.
All right. Dave, I think it's on you, or is it on me?
Okay, I'll take Houston in the under and the Rams in the over.
Okay, I'm going to take the Rams and the over, and I'm going to take the Colts and the under. Dave, we have the Jags.
We didn't Anthony yet. He didn't cover Anthony.
Yeah. I will take the Texans in the over, and I will take the Rams in the over. And I wanted to also say I'm glad that Bill fixed whatever he had on his connection, because he was sounding like he was talking through a tin can and a string earlier this evening. So it sounds like he's corrected that.
Oh, okay. Staying with you, Mr. Scott, we got the Jags, and they're getting 6. They're giving 6 to the Titans, and the over/under is 41.5.
Boy, the Jags, they've been kind of outplaying their. So I'm going to take the Jags in the over.
Okay, and we have the 49ers. They're giving Cleveland and Mr. Shedeur Sanders, they're giving them 4.5. But the over-under is only 36.5, Mr. Scott.
Oh wow, yeah, Tupac Shadur. I mean, oh boy, I think he showed some things, but I think the 49ers are a stronger team. 49ers win, it goes over.
Okay. I'm going to take the Jags and the under, and I'm going to take the 49ers and the over. I think that puts it on Bill. Bill? Are you muted again, Bill?
Is he back to tin can of the string?
I think
he's frozen.
grabbing a bite. While we're waiting for Bill, I'll take Jacksonville in the over, Bill. I'll take Jacksonville in the over and San Francisco in the under.
Okay. We can get Bill's when he gets back. Let's see. Did I give you mine there?
Yes.
Okay. So let's stay with you, Dave. We have the Aints. They're getting 5.5. They're playing the Dolphins, and the over/under is 41.5.
I'm going to take Miami in the under.
Okay, and we have the Falcons. They're giving the Jets 2.5, and the over/under is 39.5.
That division, Atlanta's division is that's ripe for the plucking. Carolina may end up the champions because I think Tampa Bay's hurting. I'm going to take Atlanta in the under.
Okay, Bill, you ready to catch up here?
Yeah, Jacksonville and the over, and I will take the 49ers in the over.
Okay. So we have the Saints getting 5.5, playing against the Fins, and the over/under is 41.5. Bill.
I'll take the Saints and the over.
And we have the Falcons giving the Jets 2.5, and the over/under is 39.5.
I will take the Falcons in the over.
Okay. Mr. Scott.
Hey, I'm going to take Miami and the over. Miami and the over.
Okay.
And Kirk Cousins. I'll take the Falcons and the over.
Mr. Scott, you and your quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Danny, and Sam. I mean,
can't win. We got Rudy. We're stuck with Rudy. We just can't win.
Did I give you mine, Dave?
No.
Okay, I'll take the Falcons and the under, and I'll take the Fins and the under. The next one, I'm going to take the Cards. No, I'm going to take the Bucks and the under, and then I'm going to take. Wow, this is a lot of points. This is a lot of points here, but I'm going to take the Seahawks. I think Sam Darnold gets his revenge is playing at home, but I'm going to take the Seahawks, and I'm going to take. Sam might put up 24. I'm going to take the under. Let's see, Bill. We got the Cards and the Bucks. Cards are getting 3. Over under is 44.5.
I think I will take. Yeah. You know what? Even though that they are depleted, the injury bug has settled in, and of course, I guess we're still waiting for confirmation that I think Baker will go because it's non-throwing shoulder. So I will continue to ride with the Bucks. Yeah, I'll take the Bucks and the over. And then Vikings Seahawks.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's really
Vikings are getting 11 and a
I
half.
know. I don't know if it's really a revenge game. I do think that the Vikings defense is good enough to keep them from getting really blown out. So I will take the Vikings in the over.
Okay. Dave?
I'm taking Minnesota in the over, and I don't know. I think Tampa Bay's hurt. I'm taking Arizona in the under.
Okay. I think the Cards are pretty much hurting as well. They're down to the third or fourth running back. Mr. Scott, no more world's tallest midget. Cards getting 3. Over under is 4.5, 44.
Well, yeah, the Cards have at least they've made things interesting. So I'll take that. I mean, I'll take that in the over. And then the guy 11 and a half. The defense should be able to cover that. I don't think they can score. Vikings can't score. It's just pathetic. I mean, the quarterback is, and then they're going to start this guy that's never played. You know, the other guy's in the discussion protocol. I think he's in the not being able to play protocol. So I'm taking the Vikings and I'm going to take it under. I don't think the Vikings can do anything. They might keep it close.
And you got Arizona in the other game, right? Arizona in the over?
Yes.
Okay.
Dave? Did we get yours?
Yeah, Arizona in the under and Minnesota in the over.
Okay. So we got everybody, right?
Yep.
Okay, so starting with you, Dave, we got the Raiders, and they're getting 10. They're playing the Chargers, and the over-under, once again, is 41.5.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Chargers offensive line. I'm going to take – I think everybody's going to take the Chargers, but I'm going to take the Raiders in the under.
I'm going to take the Chargers and the I'm going to take the Chargers and the under. And what about your Bills Steelers? Dave, we got the Bills. They're giving the Steelers 3.5. Steelers are at home, but the over-under is 47.5.
Josh Allen is a handful. I'm taking Buffalo in the over. Because, one of the things is Aaron Rodgers did not practice today. So I don't know who's going to end up quarterbacking for the Steelers.
Okay, well, then I'm going to follow that cab, and I'm going to take the Chargers in the other one. Let's see, I'm going to take the Chargers and the over, and I'm going to take the Bills and the under. Bill?
I will take the Raiders in the over. I think the Chargers win, but I think it's a much tougher game than people are expecting. And I will take the Bills and the under.
Mr. Scott?
Who is Geno Smith playing for the Raiders? Is Geno Smith?
So far,
I'm gonna take the Chargers in the over.
and
Steelers is ayahuasca or Mason Rudolph.
right now it looks like Mason Rudolph.
No, I don't want any parts of that. I'll take the Bills and the under.
Okay.
So Demetrius is the only one that took Pittsburgh in that game.
No, all right.
Well, he was a runner-up in Turkey of the year, so I don't know what that says.
Okay, let's see. Dave, why don't you give us your picks and your final thoughts here? We got the Broncos. This is Sunday Night Football. They're giving the Commanders 6, and the over-under is 43.5.
Denver's been playing well. I'm going to take Denver in the under.
Okay. And Monday night, we have the Giants getting 7, playing the Pats. The Pats are at home, and the over-under is 46.5.
I'm taking the Patriots in the under.
Okay. Final thoughts, Dave.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first part of this is not sports related. There were 2 National Guardsmen shot in Washington, D.C. today. And I mean, it's the day before Thanksgiving. They're West Virginia National Guardsmen. They have arrested the shooter. And I just feel bad. I mean, because all the National Guard is doing, they're not out there making arrests or anything. They're there for a presence. They were armed. They were able to defend themselves. So they did shoot back. But it's just a shame that this is happening the day before Thanksgiving, when they would be away from their family. And now they're fighting for their lives. And all they're trying to do is to bring order to a city that has had a lot of murders in the past. And so my hearts are out for them. Sports-wise, I have a friend that is using my tickets for the Bills game, but I decided, even though we're here getting ready for Thanksgiving, I'm going to go to the game. So before the Chicago Bears game, the cheapest ticket in the stadium was $222. Now I can get them for $142, and I'm waiting till Friday to maybe even get it for a little bit cheaper. So Sunday I will be attending the Pittsburgh-Buffalo game, and hopefully they're able to pull it out, because this is a pivotal game for Pittsburgh. If they win, then their next game against the Ravens could decide who's going to be in charge of the AFC North. But if they lose and they drop to 6-6, they may not be mathematically eliminated, but I find it very, very difficult for them to even make the playoffs at that point. So real important game for Pittsburgh, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in person.
Okay. Bill.
Well, I'm going to sort of follow that cap a little bit. While I think that there was sort of a rather thin pretense to put the National Guard in these various cities.
Did you take? You're following his both his picks?
Oh, the picks. No, sorry, I forgot about the picks part. Okay, so the last 2 games were the Monday night game and Broncos Commanders.
The Sunday night game, Sunday night and Monday night.
Right.
So you got the Broncos getting 6.
Yep.
I mean, the Broncos are giving the Commanders 6, and the over/under is 43.5.
I will take the over and the Commanders. I think the Broncos win, but I think the Commanders are very game as a team. I think they have a strong team culture, and they fight like heck, lose by 4. And then for Giants Patriots,
both of these games are no hook.
Yeah, no hook, which makes it exciting.
You can call the push.
I'm tempted. I'm going to take the Patriots, and I'm going to take the over on that one.
Okay,
And
now your final thoughts.
yeah, and once again, you know, I don't blame the National Guard at all. I mean, they're simply doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like I said, some of the reasoning behind putting them in these various cities around the country may be a little, I don't know, quizzical.
Steve?
Yes, maybe a little bit of both, but they were there doing what they were told they needed to do. But this is a really interesting day in the history of sports. On this day in 1982, Howard Cosell called his final pugilistic bout, his final boxing match on this day. Maurice Richard scored his 600th career goal in the NHL on this day. Guy Lafleur announced that seeing another great hockey tie-in, that he would retire on this day in 1984. And in fact, on this same day in 1917, the NHL was organized. This today is the birthday of the NHL. But the thing I want to talk about, I guess in lieu of our friend Demetrius being here, is that on this day in 98, on this day in 1998, Barry Sanders became the second running back in NFL history to rush for more than 15,000 career yards. And the thing that makes it so amazing is that he also is the leader all time in lost yards, right? I think he has almost over 3,600 yards of tackles for loss, like taking tackles on that script, because he never played with the fullback, and his team usually was not built, despite what he did, for actually power running. They ran the silver stretch for a while, which, while they didn't call it run and shoot, was essentially run and shoot. They had Mouse Davis, not the progenitor, because that's Tiger Ellison was the progenitor of run and shoot, but one of the early adherents of run and shoot was Mouse Davis. And when he was their offensive coordinator, which I think was almost half of Barry's career, they ran a basically run and shoot offense. So he was making yardage almost entirely based on his own talent, wit, guile, vision. He had really one truly special offensive lineman, and that's Lomas Brown, throughout his entire career. And Lomas Brown is someone who should probably get a little more Hall of Fame consideration than he's received so far. But that's it for the offensive linemen he played with. The rest of them were solid professionals, but nothing special. So I want to celebrate one of the most quiet, humble, and in many ways almost dull, except for when he was playing, superstars in the history of football, and Barry Sanders, who was absolutely electric on a football field. And if you were too young to have seen him, you know, this is what YouTube is for. Just pick any game at random and watch Barry Sanders, and you're welcome.
Mr. Scott.
Oh, let me see. I got a couple picks.
You got a couple picks. You got the Broncos giving the Commanders 6, and the over-under is 43.5.
Yeah, I think the Commanders, the Broncos, their coach, he kind of Belichick 1.2. He kind of, I don't know what it is about him. I'm not a very good fan, but I have to take the Broncos, and I'll take the under, and I will take New England, which I think they're fraudulent, but they've been winning games, so they're going to get a chance to prove they're fraudulent. So I'll take them with the under.
Okay.
Did you take Denver or Washington?
Denver.
Final thoughts, Mr. Scott.
I don't know. This time of year, it seems like they always show a lot of stuff with the Super Bowl years past. I think about that first Viking, 1968, Hank Stram matriculating down the line, and how disappointed. That's really one of the first games that I was really disappointed in. Everybody said it was a giveaway. The AFL was no good until I looked at their lineup, and I saw all these guys, Curly Culp and Ernie Ladd and Willie Lanier and Mike Garrett and Lenny. I said, wait a minute, this is a real team here. So, and they show some of these things. It kind of just brings me back. And then I saw this thing the other night about Rocky Blyer near Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm telling you, for this guy to be wounded, for this guy to be just not even have a foot and to come back and beat us in the Super Bowl, him and Franco Harris. I mean, I just watched that thing and it just, it was unbelievable to see. And now he went back to Vietnam and saw and stood on that ground that he was on. And he talked to some of the people that he had fought against. And they kind of hugged each other. And it's like, why did we do this? Why were we fighting each other? For what? And I mean, that was just, I tell you. And so just now with this coming up with Super Bowls, and there's going to be a lot of replay of some of these games. And I tell you, some of those coaches, Madden, and I tell you, it was a different game to me then than it is now, and I'm glad that I can reflect back on it because I actually see the contrast, and I guess that's my final thought.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to take the Broncos and the under, and I'm going to take the Patriots and the under. And tonight, guys, my final thoughts, I think I'm going to kind of surprise everybody because my final thoughts tonight actually come from Matthew 15, verse 23 through 28. Jesus did not answer a word, so his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying after us." And he answered, "I was only sent to the lost sheep of Israel." And the woman said, she knelt down, she said, "Lord, help me." The backstory is that her daughter was possessed. And Jesus had came into this land, but he was only supposed to take care of the people of Israel. But he replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." And the woman said, "Yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." And the reason why I'm bringing this up is before you go by that homeless person and look at them with disgust in your eyes, before you look at that family that's sitting out there in the cold and maybe don't have a Thanksgiving meal like you do, think about this. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Don't turn your back on these people. These people need help just like the rest of us do. So that's my final thought. Hope everyone has a very wonderful Thanksgiving, and I look forward to talking to everyone again this Wednesday coming up.
All right.
All right. I got a big pot of greens going on upstairs because
Mr. Scott, come on now.
Collards. I grow collards every year because my grandmother from Talladega, Alabama, she used to do that and showed me how. And she said, "Wait till the frost comes. Wait till, and the frost is here." So I pulled them up, and they're in the pot now. So
you got turkey wings with those, or you got ham hocks?
No ham hocks.